Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Clemson. I want to humbly acknowledge that we are located on the land of the Eastern Cherokee and Southern Iroquois. Good morning. It is good to be here and to be with you. My name is Cory. My pronouns are she and her, and I am your worship associate today. Here at UUFC, we welcome all those who come seeking a spiritual home among us, whether this is your 100th time here or your first time. If you happen to be a first-time visitor, we would love to get to know you. If you are here in person, please be sure to visit our welcome table right outside the sanctuary and stay for conversation after the service during our social hour. If you are at home and are viewing us online, we would be happy for you to receive our newsletter by emailing the office or visiting our website at uufc.org so that you can learn more about us. If you are a first-time visitor and feel comfortable standing and introducing yourself, I welcome you to at this time. Yes, welcome.
Hello, my name is Sophie.
And my name is Jesse.
And we are here visiting my grandparents, Jim and Sue Knoll, from all the way Germany.
Oh,
Welcome.
welcome.
Good morning. My name is Bill Griffith. I've lived in the area for a couple of years now, but am returning after a career at Clemson University for the last, 28 years or so coming back home.
Welcome, Bill. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, I have a number of announcements this morning, so bear with me here. We still need delegates to serve as representatives of the congregation for the UU General Assembly from June 18th to the 22nd. So if you are interested and willing, please contact Reverend Holly or Leslie Visage. Next Sunday, we have 3 events happening. May 4th is the Flower Communion. Make sure to bring your flowers to be exchanged. They can be fresh or synthetic. Also next Sunday, we ask that all members please stay for the congressional meeting at noon. Join us in the sanctuary or join us on Zoom. This meeting requires a quorum, so please consider staying next Sunday. Then that evening, there will be a viewing party at 5:30 in the social room for an evening of cathartic laughter in good company. We will be showing the 26th Mark Twain Prize for Humor given last month to Conan O'Brien. So if you're interested in that event, please RSVP to Gordon Crane or to Elaine Fredendall. And finally, we have circle dinners coming up, and it's time to sign up for these circle dinners. They'll begin in September. I'd like to make a special invitation to newcomers to our fellowship. The dinners are an opportunity to connect and to get to know each other in a more intimate environment. I think of this activity as what Reverend Holly refers to as shared ministry. Look for the not so subtle sign-up sheet in the social room. Yeah.
Thank you. I'd like to also welcome you this morning. It's so good to see all of you. I am the Reverend Holly Brown. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm the settled minister here at UUFC. I offer these words as our opening and call to worship this morning. Joy is hard. Joy requires us to feel safe, to be safe enough, to open to vulnerability. To feel joy, you must be brave. Joy walks into a room after the space has been cleared of shame, cleared of doubt, cleared of self-recrimination. Joy is hard. Joy is hard. And joy is worth it. It is worth the hard work of preparation, preparing oneself and setting down all of the defenses, all of the shoulds and could'ves, all of the should-have nots and haves and might haves. Joy is worth the work. You are worth the work. You can start small. It is the simple pleasures that you might find in a cup of tea, the grand freedom of a full belly laugh. Invite joy to be your companion. And in the spirit of that joyfulness, our opening hymn this morning is number 29, Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee. And you're invited to rise in body, mind, or spirit wherever you are to join in singing.
Now I'd like to invite Cody up for the chalice, to light our chalice for us. Thank you, Cody. Now let us share in the reading of the fellowship's affirmation that is shared in the order of service. We gather together in a spirit of love, with justice as our guide. This is our chosen covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth with freedom, and to care for one another. Thank you, Cody. Time for Ollie?
Part of today's service, you'll hear some excerpts from a book that His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Archbishop Desmond Tutu wrote together a few years ago. And some of you may be familiar with it. And as part of a trend that we've seen in the last several years, a lot of big, important works, sometimes they'll stop and think, hey, maybe we should share this book in a way that children can understand what we're saying. So in that spirit, the Dalai Lama and Reverend Tutu got together and wrote another version of their book, The Book of Joy, and this one is called The Little Book of Joy, by His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu, illustrated by Rafael Lopez. One of us grew up in a little house. One of us grew up in a big house. Our houses were on opposite sides of the world. Often we were sad and lonely. Both of us wished for a friend. Sometimes the other kids wouldn't let us play, or they were very far away. We wondered if we would always be sad and lonely. But when we sat still and breathed in the quiet, we noticed something beautiful. If you just focus on the thing that is making you sad, then the sadness is all you see. But if you look around, you will see that joy is everywhere. Joy is the warm, tingly feeling of the sun tickling your toes in the morning. It's the giggly, squiggly feeling when you are doing something silly. And it's the soft, snuggly feeling of being all wrapped up, cozy in your bed at night. Even when you are caught in the rain and your joy is washed away, it's waiting at the bottom of the puddle. Even if you slam the door and your joy can't get in, it's just on the other side, waiting in a loving hug. And even if there is a loud noise in the night and your joy gets scared away, it comes streaming right back with the light of the silvery moon. Joy is the bubbly, bouncing feeling of finding a good friend. And once you let joy in, like magic, your heart always has room for more. We discovered that the more joy we shared, the more joy we had. And the more joy we had, the more joy we could share. So look for the joy all around you and share it. Write it in a letter, play it on a drum, sing it to the sky. It will travel up in the air, across the ocean. Someone will find it and share it. And as it spreads from person to person, the world will fill with joy.
Thank you, Karen. This is the time we set aside for the offering in order to give toward the financial vitality of this community. Also, 25% of the undesignated collection each week goes to an organization in the local community that we partner with. For the month of April, we are partnering with Habitat for Humanity. Each week, we also collect non-perishable food for the Clemson Community Cares Food Bank. You may also give by going to the UUFC website and using the donate button. There you will see options for paying your pledge and donating towards the organizations we partner with. Thank you for your generosity.
I want to thank you again for your generosity And in the spirit of another kind of generosity, the generosity of spirit, the sharing of joys and concerns, is what allows us to have that deeper connection with our community each week. And so I've asked Carrie to place a stone in this vessel, representing our shared community for each of the joys and concerns shared this morning. Have a joy from Dave Sanders that I'm excited to share that we are $2,000 away from reaching our $50,000 goal for our solar project with a month left in the campaign. Yes, that's great news. And Mike Cole shares that a joy, the auction last night was a great experience and lots of fun, thanks to all the volunteers who made it possible. Yes, thank you all. Yes. All right. Okay. Yes. There we go. All right. Have a joy from Modi that my friend Alan is turning a healthy 81 years old tomorrow. Is that this Alan? Happy birthday. One. Okay. Happy birthday. Yes. Yes. All right. And I have a joy from David and Mary Stephenson. Yesterday was our 14th wedding anniversary and the first day of our retirement. Congratulations. Yes. Okay. I have one from Brad, and you put phonetic spelling, and I'm really terrible with phonetic spelling. Marzinski? Is that close? Okay. All right. I'll have to get you to tell me at another time. That my thoughts are with my coworkers that were laid off due to the tariffs. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Have a joy and concern from Paula Husenfeld to please keep us in your thoughts as we move into Everlawn Retirement Community this May 2nd. Thank you. All right. Yes. And a message that you left with Becky earlier this week is that you could use some help with packing before the move. Is that still the case? Okay, yes. So if you're willing to help, talk to Paula. And joy also about the solar project from Chen Fu, that the solar panel project is raising money and it's reached 97% of its target, and we're going to be a center for environmental and humane activities of the community. Yes, because part of raising the amount that we're shooting for is being a resiliency hub, so that when things like Hurricane Helene or other natural disasters, which are sadly becoming more prevalent rather than less, has a place for people to seek power and AC or heat in those events that are needed. So, and I want to place a stone in the vessel also for all of those that are experiencing fear or heartache at all that is going on in the world, and we really don't have enough stones for all of that. It is just so much. we have to keep that joy and laughter in the midst of all of that. And so I place one final stone, or ask Carrie rather, to place one final stone, representing all of those joys and concerns that remain quiet and tender upon our heart this morning. Thank you, Carrie. And now, we have our children's recessional singing the children out to their religious education class. And so the words will be up on the slides for Go Now in Peace, if you'll join in singing that with me. And thank you, Dave, for turning on the fans. I'd like to invite you into a spirit of meditation and prayer, settling into your seat, maybe closing your eyes, relaxing those shoulders and jaw muscles that so often we hold too tightly. If on a starlit night, with the moon bright and shimmering, we stay inside and do not venture out, the evening universe remains part of life that we shall not know. If on a cloudy day, with grayness infusing all the rain and dancing rivers in the grass, we stay inside and do not venture out, the stormy, threatening energy of the universe remains, a part of life we shall not know. If on a frosty morning, dreading the chilling air before the sunrise, we stay inside and do not venture out, the awesome, cold, quiet, and stillness of dawn, universe remains, a part of life we shall not know. If throughout these grace-giving days of ours, surrounded as we are by green life and brown death, hot pink joy and cold gray pain and miracles, always miracles. If we stay inside ourselves and do not venture out with the fullness of the universe, it shall be unknown to us, and our locked hearts shall never feel the rush of worship.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Today's reading is an excerpt from the Book of Joy by His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu with the assistance of Douglas Abrams. The Dalai Lama had said before the trip, "What is the purpose of life?" After much consideration, I believe the purpose of life is to find happiness. It does not matter whether one is a Buddhist like me, or a Christian like the Archbishop, or any other religion, or no religion at all. From the moment of birth, every human being wants to discover happiness and avoid suffering. No differences in our culture or our education or our religion affect this. From the very core of our being, we simply desire joy and contentment. But so often these feelings are fleeting and hard to find, like a butterfly that lands on us and then flutters away. The ultimate source of happiness is within us, not money, not power, not status. Some of my friends are billionaires, but they are very unhappy people. Power and money fail to bring inner peace. Outward attainment will not bring real inner joyfulness. We must look inside. Sadly, many of the things that undermine our joy and happiness we create ourselves. Often it comes from the negative tendencies of the mind, emotional reactivity, or from our inability to appreciate and utilize the resources that exist within us. The suffering from a natural disaster we cannot control, but the suffering from our daily disasters we can. We create most of our suffering, so it should be logical that we also have the ability to create more joy. It simply depends on the attitudes, the perspectives, and the reactions we bring to situations and to our relationships with other people. When it comes to personal happiness, there is a lot that we as individuals can do.
So we have a second reading, and this one's more like a kind of a list of definitions, sort of. And so to break that up, Carrie and I are going to alternate between those statements.
We get to do it together.
Yes. All right. So, according to Paul Ekman, famed emotions researcher and longtime friend of the Dalai Lama, has written that joy is associated with feelings as varied as
Pleasure of the five senses,
amusement, from a chuckle to a belly laugh,
contentment, a calmer kind of satisfaction,
excitement in response to novelty or challenge,
relief, following upon another emotion such as fear, anxiety, and even pleasure,
wonder, before something astonishing and admirable,
ecstasy or bliss, transporting us outside ourselves,
exultation at having accomplished a difficult or daring task,
radiant pride, when our children earn a special honor,
unhealthy jubilation, relishing in someone else's suffering. Yeah, I'll be coming back to that one.
I wasn't expecting all the laughter. Elevation, from having witnessed an act of kindness, generosity, or compassion.
Gratitude, the appreciation of a selfless act of which one is the beneficiary.
Matthew Rickard added 3 other more exalted states of joy.
Rejoicing in someone else's happiness.
Delight or enchantment, a shining kind of contentment.
And finally, spiritual radiance, a serene joy born from deep well-being and benevolence. He continues to say, joy certainly does embrace all of these human experiences as a way of being that one witnesses in the Archbishop and the Dalai Lama is probably closest to that of shining contentment or spiritual radiance born from a deep well-being and benevolence. And if you want to be able to read more, it's a really great book, and it's got pictures of the Dalai Lama and the Archbishop, and they're just, you can tell they have that joy. So we now have a video that is Joy Comes Back. So. Well, sometimes joy comes back to us in unexpected ways of giggling when technology does yet again things that we cannot explain or prepare for. Oh, let's see. All right, is that better? Is there still that hum a little bit? Yeah, all right, I'm gonna step back just a little bit from the pulpit since I have this mic on. I don't know if that's causing some interference. So this book, the Book of Joy, I was given when I was in seminary. It was a gift from my uncle, and of all the times to give me a book, seminary, grad school, when I had everything else to read, was not the best timing. So I set it aside. And so often I listen to audiobooks or digital books rather than physical books. But during the pandemic, I had the experience of feeling kind of down. Did anybody else have that feeling, especially with the isolation? And I got to thinking, I have this book of joy. I wonder if it would bring me joy. I can't say that it worked to bring me joy, but it definitely helped me recognize the joy that was already there. There's a chapter in this book. It's kind of broken into days that the Dalai Lama and His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu were together. And there was a meeting that they discussed the mischievous people in the world. And we're pretty mischievous from the way Douglas Abrams described them. If you together, when they met, one of them tried to kiss the other one on the cheek, and that created a laughter between them that's described. Well, the book didn't get rid of sadness and loneliness of the pandemic. It was hard to not think about the different things that I did have. I had housing. I had my health. It didn't get rid of the worry, but it helped me rethink that a little bit. According to the Archbishop, joy is much bigger than happiness. While happiness is often seen as being dependent upon external circumstances, joy is not. We typically conflate happiness with joy, or vice versa, because the words are found in definitions and of one another and considered synonyms. But there's so much that we cannot control in the world. At times, things that we cannot control in our own bodies or minds. That can feel overwhelming. Well, I think about the pandemic, and I know how many times I said in these unprecedented times, I got so sick of that term. And yet, we find ourselves in very unsettling times. Now, I wouldn't say unprecedented because this level of hatred and harm have existed before. It's just a little different for us this time. But if we consider the Archbishop's words, joy is both bigger and more difficult to disrupt because it is innate in us as human beings. And so the excerpt containing the list of definitions, two of them stood out to me. And y'all giggled or laughed at one of them, which was unhealthy jubilation. Relishing in someone else's suffering. And then the other one that stood out to me was spiritual radiance, that serene joy born of deep well-being and benevolence. The first one was startling because it's kind of difficult for me personally to think about finding joy in the suffering of others. But to be clear, that doesn't mean that I discount it in the world, because it is far too obvious that there are people that relish in the suffering and pain of other people. It is heartbreaking and overwhelming to know that such things continue to happen over and over again in this world. It takes new forms, but that unhealthy jubilation must be there, because if they didn't find some enjoyment about inflicting this on others, surely they wouldn't keep doing it. And the other one stood out to me, that of spiritual radiance, finding that serene joy. And the reason why this one stood out to me is that it seems to be a culmination of all of the other definitions except unhealthy jubilation. So what does deep well-being look like for you? Is there something you can do to find that sense of well-being, even in the midst of the storms of the world that we face? That we don't turn away from the moments of beauty when we have it. We don't stay locked inside when we could jump in the puddle left by the rain, when we could enjoy a sunrise or a sunset. Have you ever thought about joy always being there? Is that a new idea? So it was new to me when I first read this idea of joy always being there. But if we recognize that there are little things in our day-to-day life that we can find joy in, sometimes they're surprising, sometimes we just have to slow down and pay attention to our surroundings. Maybe it's being in community, like being here last night for the auction or here this morning. Sharing a meal with friends, like at circle dinners or at special events that we hold here. Maybe it is in exchanging in Easter eggs and having a great laugh and a little bit of chaos in the middle of service. If you weren't here last week, that's what we did. It was great fun. Maybe it is offering something to someone else that needs it, whether it is a smile, holding the door when someone's arms are full, maybe of their winning bids from the auction. Sharing a kindness with someone, a word, an action, that is a form of joy. Donating to our food bank or other activities that we support through our ongoing work like Habitat for Humanity. I know that at least a couple of you have gone and helped with that, helping with beautifying the grounds. So I want to think about how we connect this to our values, our principles, and our covenants. I think that these values help us, remind us of that spiritual radiance, that well-being, that benevolence that can be aided by remembering these statements. One that really comes to mind is that of interdependence. Our seventh principle has said that interdependence is a web of all existence of which we are a part. We are connected. And as we recognize that connection, we can't help but want to be in relationship and support and accountability with one another and for one another, as well as all beings. And if we hold on to those, it allows us to find that type of joy that we can carry out into the world, even when there is hurt, even when there is suffering around us. Doesn't mean that it goes away. It doesn't mean that we are ignoring it. But in the words of the Dalai Lama, and I have another quote in a moment from the Archbishop, the Dalai Lama said, "Too much self-centered thinking is the source of suffering. A compassionate concern for others' well-being is a source of happiness." And I want to pause here because it's important to name that while you want to help care for others and have that compassionate concern, there is a reason that if you fly and they give you the instruction, if you're paying attention to the flight attendant, they tell you that in case of emergency, if the oxygen masks drop down, they tell you what? Put it on yourself first, and then assist others that might need your help. Because if you can't breathe, you can't help anybody else. And the same is true for us in our lives. If our batteries are drained, and we are not finding a way to recharge, to nourish, and recognize that joy that is there when we slow down and pay attention to it. We have to be renewed. We have to find ways that we can ground ourselves and ground ourselves in community. Because without that, if we fall into that constant state of exhaustion, physically, mentally, spiritually, it'll be so hard to get back out. Have you ever celebrated making it through a difficult time? Yeah? Sometimes it's the anniversary of something, maybe the end of a painful relationship. I met someone a number of years ago that celebrated surviving her cancer diagnosis, not because it was gone, but because the doctor only gave her a few months to live, and when she hit a year, she threw a big party. And it was around Mardi Gras, so it was Mardi Gras themed. It was a spectacular party that she threw. And then she made it another year. And if you can imagine, she tried to outdo herself. But eventually, she did succumb to her illness. But rather than being only in the hurt, only in the heartache, the suffering of the body and mind due to such a diagnosis, she also was determined to find some joy, to manage that difficult situation the best way she knew how. And the Archbishop said, quote, "Discovering more joy does not, I'm sorry to say, save us from the inevitability of hardship and heartbreak. In fact, we may cry more easily, but we will laugh more easily too. Perhaps we are just more alive. Yet, as we discover more joy, we can face suffering in a way that ennobles rather than embitters. We have hardship without becoming hard. We have heartbreak without being broken," end quote. Of the items you bought from the auction, or knowing that it's coming. And I want to note just though, you can sign up to be a substitute, which is what I get to be a lot. So if somebody else can't come, that means that you get invited to fill that slot. And it doesn't require you doing it every month in the same way. But it's a lot of fun when you're invited. So just as a plug for that. Hope that we can find our resiliency through the recognition of hope and joy and love or compassion in all of the things that we do in this world. Because if we don't have joy as a form of resistance, as I said, the first Sunday of this month, joy is necessary for us to get from pain to joy. It doesn't cease to exist just because there is heartache. And just because there is heartache doesn't mean that the joy and the hurt ceases. But the only way is through joy, through community, through support and care for one another. Hope that we can live into our values represented in that interdependence, recognizing how deeply we are connected to our communities, to our families, to our churches, and to the planet as a whole, all beings. May we find that through those connections, an innate joy that we can carry within us, that we can make it through difficult times, beloveds. I know we can. We hold fast to hope and joy so it may sustain us as an opportunity to feel more deeply what life does have to offer. May you be filled with joy. May it be so. May we make it so. And blessed be. And in the spirit of finding more love and more joy, you are invited to rise in body, mind, or spirit, wherever you are, to join in singing number 95, There Is More Love Somewhere. And I offer a final quote as our closing words from the Archbishop. To be a reservoir of joy, an oasis of peace, a pool of serenity that can ripple out into all those around you, joy is quite contagious. May we find more joy, that spiritual radiance that creates ripples around us out into the world that we touch. As we extinguish this chalice, may we carry the light of joy with us. May we go in peace and return in love.